Alrighty, hello again. Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. Figured I'd just start up right away again. Try to get this cinched out tonight. Maybe. But if he can reverse time, how are we ever able to beat him? Well, you could. You know you could. What else do you gotta do? The Coral and the Colossus, huh? Should know with a cat, eh? So are we gonna beat our foes by holding the cat hostage? I'd hold a cat hostage to save the world. I could give it pets. Feed it a little tuna in a can. Dead Illuminati guy. Travel through time, huh? Nah, I'm sure it'll be fine. People have told us, you know, that we've already lost before, and then we showed them what was what. You there, cat. You're Shanoa. Quick things is a little familiar, aren't you? 2 mews for yeah, 1 for nay. Mew mew. Mew. 7 hells. I think the bloody furball might actually understand us, but that doesn't mean we can trust her. For all we know, she could be here to do her master's dirty work. Now, you might be thinking, viewer, you might be thinking, hey, time travel is bullshit, and I hate time travel plots, and how could Final Fantasy do this? And, well, I got some bad news for you, viewer. In the very first Final Fantasy, there's a time loop. And you break it. So this is, again, one of the most Final Fantasy things to ever Final Fantasy its way out of Final Fantasy. And then, let's see. In Final Fantasy III, the villain freezes time for all of the world except for the floating island that you're from, so that he can prevent himself from dying, which you restart the flow of time. And then... and... let's see... well, I guess it doesn't count as time travel, but Final Fantasy V introduced Time Mage, which had haste and slow and all that other stuff as a specific, you know, time-oriented magic. And then I guess nothing time-related really outside of magic really really did anything with time travel until Final Fantasy VIII. And in Final Fantasy VIII, it wasn't necessarily time travel, but you do have these instances where the entire party passes out and you take control of a character who winds up being the main character's, revealed to be the main character's father. And, so your spirit, I guess, crosses the gaps in time. And then the villain in that one wants to destroy everything via time compression. They want every instant to become the same instant, so that time becomes meaningless and everything comes to a grinding halt. And of course, they don't succeed, but yeah. You actually use a form of out-of-body time travel, I guess, to save the world in that game. Or at least keep history correct, I suppose? I don't really remember the full story for Final Fantasy VIII. And then I don't believe there was any time travel in Final Fantasy IX. None that I remember. Like I said before, I haven't really ever played 10. In 11, Final Fantasy 11, the first online one, it takes place 20 years after Crystal War, where the Beastmen and the Shadow Lord fought, the three cities and, well, actually 4 cities, I guess. The allied forces of Altana. And in the 4th expansion, the Wings of the Goddess, you get sucked up by Atomos. Atomos Maz just started appearing around the world, and you get sucked up by one. And it teleports you back to the era of the Shadow Lord's War, the Shadow era, and you fight in the war that took place 20 years before the game's events. And so that plot line is ridden with alternate universe theory and time travel and all that stuff. So it's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. Definitely a good expansion for one thing, and for another, involved time travel. I haven't really played 12 either. I don't believe it involves time travel. Could be wrong. 13, as far as I know it, doesn't involve time travel. Although I think 13-3 or Lightning Returns or whatever, I think that one involves time travel. Or maybe it was the second one. I don't know. I haven't played any of them. Well, I've played the first 13. I know the first 13 doesn't involve time travel at all. And then here we are in 14, and not only does this raid plotline involve time travel, but spoiler alert, a later expansion will have some threads also involving time travel. So hold on to your seat, because we're going to be time traveling, or someone's going to be time traveling. Time travel's going to happen. Trying to think if there's anything else, any other dungeons, any other duties I've forgotten to unlock. This queue time's gonna take a while, it looks like. If it's already at 11 minutes and I'm on tank, that's no bueno. I suppose I could switch to healer and see if healers are in need or something for the raid roulette. But it's also, we're also hitting the dead time of night, even on weekends, around 5 a.m. to 6, actually really from 5 a.m. to about, oh, I'd say till about 10 a.m. It's kind of dead zone for time here, because other than Europeans and weirdos who work nights like me and other people with no responsibilities and stuff, no one really plays. And that, it's like the opposite of prime time, dead time. I don't know, low tide compared to high tide, I guess. So even when you're on an appropriate job or whatever, or the adventurer in need, your queue, in need is DPS? Okay, I guess we could do the rest of Alexander on Dragoon. Wouldn't mind that. It says 10 minutes on DPS, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We got some other stuff we can come unlock here. When the bow wakes. Crowd's gonna get involved, huh? Seal is cracked and the icons stir. Should they be allowed to awaken and resume their titanic conflict, it will be alike to the coming of a second calamity. You, Clyde, represent our best hope of eliminating this threat. That said, the very act of entering the containment facility itself presents certain unique challenges. So unique, in fact, that I struggle to locate an individual with the requisite talents to surmount them. Were it not for the impressively diverse connections of your fellow scions, I might still be searching. Happily, however, they are able to furnish me with a suitable candidate. Now, along with you and your echo-blessed companions, all the pieces we need to proceed with this deadly game are arrayed upon the board. Victory hinges upon no less than the total destruction of the warring triad. But we must also wear the interference of those who covet the Allagan's primal harnessing technology. I speak, of course, of the blindly grasping hand of the Garlean Empire and its fumbling agents. The ignorant meddling of the Empire will serve only to hasten the Icon's awakening, and it is my master's desire that the Triad be dispatched before Imperial forces delve too deeply. Being the nearest to wakefulness, the Icon Sephiroth shall be your first adversary. Make your preparations and join me on the flagship in Aziz's Law. We shall speak further there. What a spooky little kid. You know, for some reason, even though DPS is the thing in need right now for Raid Roulette, I somehow think that it's gonna just change back to tank or healer. Oh, look at that, it's back to being tank. I should have just stayed in the queue on Dark Knight. Whenever it's DPS in need, that's like something you have to jump on immediately if you want to take advantage of it, because it pretty much solves itself just by the distribution of how players want to play the game. Most people don't want to tank. Most people don't want to heal. Most people want a DPS because it's the thing that's least involved, right? As a DPS, what's your responsibility in a fight? Stay alive and hit the boss as hard as possible, as fast as possible, right? Yes, DPSs have more intricate rotations to deal optimal damage, but they're not difficult to play, and that's the only thing you have to focus on. You're not responsible for anyone else's rotation. You're not responsible for anyone else staying alive. You know, you might be responsible here and there for like mitigating some physical damage with like a feint or some magical damage with an addle, but it's hardly ever make or break. How do you know that, man? Guess you've got like the inside scoop. Man, this totally gets around. The Fiend. Tree-like beings, huh? Ryle, you're not a warrior. Oh, hey, we can come back to this cutscene in a second, maybe. Maybe. Maybe I've made a horrible mistake. I made a horrible mistake. I should have come back to this. We're not gonna... Oh my god. Yeah, we get it. He's really, really strong. Son of a bitch. Talk about irritating. Well, let's queue up again. See if I get in. Probably won't, but you know. Could be worse. Could be better. Just a little too much dialogue in those scenes, you know. Like, well, I don't know why they felt the need to have them restate over and over. This icon is really powerful. This icon is ridiculously powerful. He's super strong. Like, I appreciate the details we get on him, you know, like the tree-like beings bit and where he's from, as you know, in the world and whatnot. So they said Mericidia, that's outside of Eorzea, so hey look, we got primals that aren't from Eorzea. Meaning they're not unique to this region of the world. And like, yes, we knew the Garleans were gonna, you know, be there, so when we heard intruders, like, why was it necessary to have a full paragraph come up about, you know, oh, I'll bet that's the Garleans, those oafs, those lummoxes, those ne'er-do-wells. Ooh. You know what though, I'm gonna queue for two things at once, just cause we can. We'll probably get into Sephiroth first, because that's in the trial roulette. Whereas Eyes of the Creator are not in the trial roulette, so. I guess while we wait, we can do more fates. And and talk to you about stuff. I don't know. Sephiroth itself is a Final Fantasy VI reference. I swear I've gotten over this before, maybe, but it might have been in those silent episodes. And not that there's anything wrong with a non-voiced over, you know, episode or anything, but for me, anyway, I like hearing, you know, the Let's Player speak, right? Like that's, you know, I don't just like watching raw gameplay usually. I like, you know, some personality with it. I like opinions being given. I like reactions. And for me, voice is more than enough. Though for a lot of people, they'd prefer if you were like a streamer, or, you know, you could, you know, otherwise, you know, show facial expressions and keep up that way and stuff. And I can understand that. That's one of the reasons live television does so well, because people like to see, you know, people smile, people laugh, people shout, and like, it's also one of the reasons animation, for a large part of our populace, at least here in the States, although it might be a worldwide psychological thing, since there's no actual, you know, people, you know, it's not live action, you know, people who don't like animation, that's usually why they're not attached to animation, They can't ever fully get behind the idea that a drawing that's supposed to represent a person, no matter how detailed, actually represents a person. Which, I mean, I find silly, but here we are. People don't like animation. I truly, to me, that's vexing. To me, animation's always been a big deal. Like, I love anime. My three favorite animes they all got the same director, but I mean, I guess two of them are similar enough, but the third one is radically different. And of course, these animes would be Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and Space Dandy. And big point of contention for me recently was I tried to get my girlfriend to watch Space Dandy with me. And I may have mentioned this before, but she did not want to watch it. Like, she got through the first two episodes decently okay, and then in the third episode there was a strong, fan service scene where basically this scantily clad woman, sort of, the camera, zooms in on her boobs, and it's a little gratuitous. But I told her that the show would be like that getting in, because it's part of its comedy. But after a certain point, it tones it down to a small degree, becomes much less of a focus. So it's actually just episode dependent. There's fan service shots in every episode of Space Dandy, and boy howdy, sometimes, it's gratuitous. But, she didn't attribute it to that, to the thing that actually bothered her about it. She just said, this isn't my type of show, it's, it's not good, it's stupid, it's too ridiculous, it's too absurd. It's like, I told you, that's like the whole point, but she wasn't having it, so we had like a small tussle about it, I guess, or, it wasn't a physical tussle, but we had a fight, I guess. And she couldn't understand why I was upset that she didn't like the show. And I couldn't understand, why she couldn't just be honest and say it was because of the fan service shot. Because after the fight was over, I pretty much forced her to start rewatching it with me. So I wanted to watch it together with her. And, she grumbles her way through the first two episodes again. And, we get the fan service episode again. And she pretty much just, she like literally went to sleep. We were like laying here together, and she went to sleep. Not like fell asleep accidentally, she just took her glasses off and just consciously made the decision to go to sleep. So I didn't try waking her up for, that episode. I wasn't gonna force her to watch that. So I let her sleep through two episodes, which was the zombie episode and the Kilgarian, I guess, is the third episode. But the fifth episode, which is really good, I woke her up for, and then I took her home. And then I think we watched up to episode 7, and she says that she'll watch it with me, but like she's not gonna enjoy it at all, and so I just haven't pressed the issue anymore. That's like really upsetting because like, you know, I know not every show is for everyone, and like, not everyone has to like the same things. And like, just because you're in a relationship with somebody, you know, that doesn't mean that they're gonna like everything you like. It's just like food, you know, like, I love Chinese food. My girlfriend doesn't. Right? But, you know, she decided to actually try it. Because part of the reason she didn't like it is she never tried it. So she tried it, she decided she found a couple dishes she likes. Right? So, you know, it's part of trying new things and growing as a person and such. And whenever you're just completely unwilling to do that because you don't like, you know, like something that's crass, or, you know, like something rubs you the wrong way about something, or, you know, something tastes bad at first. I don't know, it just seems... I feel like not enough people try, like they're not willing to try to get to like things that, you know, that might put them off at first, right? Like, in this day and age, if it puts you off, or if it upsets you, right, because of, you know, something small, like something very small, or something, you know, that should be small, or is only really a minor mental inconvenience, like, you know, people will just drop it at the, you know, the first slight sign of adversity, or of, you know, problems, I guess. But it's all a matter of perspective. And, you know, some people would say that she watched the third episode. Most people give up on anime after like the second. You know, that would mean something if I hadn't already told her, hey, you might not like some of these earlier episodes, but by the 5th episode, you know, just give it to the 5th episode, and that's when you'll really, really know. But she didn't want to. But it's not a total loss. She likes Samurai Champloo, and I'm slowly getting her to sort of like animated shows. Certain ones. She'll never like any, well, not anything, but she'll never like everything that I like. That's anime related or cartoon related. This queue takes too long. I'll probably just I'll probably give up and go ahead and make this like well, a shorter recording. I don't want to just have an episode be, you know, waiting for a queue, you know. but there were necessary cutscenes to show. Should have just taken that cue when it popped the first time, you know. Come back to that short unlocking cutscene afterwards. That's what I get, though. Oh shit. There's the queue again. I don't think I can kill these guys, and let's see how far we get. Maybe if I whipped out my chocobo. Oh, I can't get the queue. Well, I don't have this thing dead by 7 seconds. Get in there. No sense in missing it twice. Not for 70k XP. We're almost off this raid series. We got this one and 3 more. Woo! Smoke? Don't you mean steam? It's a steam giant. It's not giving off smoke. That's steam. The Hummel found, or Cross Z. So the Dark Knight really wants a tank. I'll probably let him tank the main body. I don't really care about that. But when you're on a tank, you know, sometimes you feel like being the tank. You feel like taking the hits. That's why you're playing tank. You gonna go there, buddy? I guess so. They're not turning it around or anything, so that's not cool. Leave the group. I didn't need to wake up that ad. Basically, this boss works by, if you don't put its ads in the glowing quadrants and break them, or have them deactivated in the glowing quadrants to have them melted down, it absorbs them and gain buffs. If it gets too many of those, it's white. So. Now these are blocks. You want to get behind them for scrap burst. Otherwise, that happens. Concussion, folks. Also, if you yourself fall into the molten metal, then you take a really heavy burn dot that persists afterwards, and you're likely to die. Oh, that's gonna be the Full Metal Faust. You gotta kill it. Kill it. There we go. Ever so barely. Truly was a close one. I like the larger bosses like this because they don't get covered up by the huge animations like Fire 4. Like, sure, you can't see everything they're doing, and they do take up a ridiculous amount of the screen. But, that's part of the fun. And it's over. We had all casters with DPS. Also, excuse me for my burping. All the talking draws in a lot of air. And from here, I guess this would give us item level 250 gear. Some of it looks pretty cool. I might take the pedal because the boots can look pretty cool from here. They're not dyeable though, but they can look pretty cool. swing. But part of him's sticking out of the barrel now. Or barrel. Barrier. Words are hard. Functioning precisely as intended, yet for reasons we are unable to ascertain, they have no measurable effect on the primal. It probably gets around them through time, right? But heeded his words, huh? Ella's in, huh? Reunite the scattered shards of the Enigma Codex, he said, and perform the sacred rite before the ruins that stand strong against the river's flow. Then and only then shall your hopes and dreams become reality. A gift from your fan Travanchet. I heard that's the name of somebody who was an Ascian in 1.0, or wound up being an Ascian in 1.0, is what I'd heard. But I don't know for sure. Of course they did. They have a hand in everything. This Cholo failed for once, eh? How about that? Two cats? Schrodinger, huh? So they all saw the cat. Biggs and Wedge's excellent adventure. okay. But honestly, we're probably out of time for now, and I need to get some sleep. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble if you watched this far, if you didn't skip ahead. And I'll see you next time. Stay safe, and have a great day.